Stewardship with SNB. Stewardship with SNB. Hello, good afternoon everyone, and thank you for joining us on the program Stewardship with SNB from the studios of Rstv in Port Harcourt. My name is Solomon Nelson Brett. This program is watched only on GoTV channel 142 and Start Time channel 113. You can also join us on our social media handles such as YouTube and Facebook at Rstv Online. These are the platforms with which you can follow this program as we make progress. Today again, we're going to still talk about local government administration, and this time around, the one local government that is the face of River State, that is Port Harcourt City local government area. And of course, we all know why the local government is being established to bring governance closer to the people in the localities. And of course, not just closer, delivering the dividends of democracy to the people. And that's why local government is essentially created. Joining me on this all-important interview is Dr. Sam KALAGBO. He is the administrator of Port Harcourt City local government area. Administrator, welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
Before I start, let me first congratulate you on a well-deserved appointment. You were in the academia. Now you are managing a political office. How do you reconcile the two?
Essentially, you don't have significant differences between managing a tertiary institution and managing a local government. All fall within the context of administration. So the principles are universal. They are applicable to tertiary institutions. They are also applicable to local government, even though the targets and audience differ.
Okay, so could you share your philosophy with us? What's your philosophy like in life? Let's build upon that.
Generally I believe that whatever opportunity that you have in your private capacity or public capacity, you should be able to put smiles on the faces of people. Humanism is a guiding principle for me, and I sincerely believe that the opportunity that I have to administer a premier local government like Port Harcourt City local government will also afford me the opportunity to respond to the needs of the people and residents of Port Harcourt City local government.
All right, so taking a cue from your philosophy, how would you describe the declaration of state of emergency in River State, of which you are one of the beneficiaries?
It is subject to multiple interpretations, and considering the fact that I'm a lawyer, that matter is sub judice, is before the court, so I wouldn't like to comment on it. However, I'd like to clearly state that nature abhors vacuum, and essentially the purpose of the declaration is to maintain peace, to ensure that lives and property of the people of River State and in our context the people and residents of Port Harcourt are protected, and to also put in place the necessary machinery for restoration of democratic governance in River State.
So which of these best describes you as a person? A Democrat, a conservativist, a liberal, a neoliberal, a capitalist, an opportunist?
I'm a technocrat.
I didn't have it in my options.
I have provided.
Interesting. All right. When you say you're a technocrat, could you throw a little light on it?
My academic, managerial, and administrative experience, qualification, and exposure confer on me the relevant skills to be able to not only understand and analyze socio-economic and political issues and challenges of society, but to be able to also provide solutions to those challenges and issues in society. And in our context, by virtue of the position which I presently occupy, it is expected that I should bring my wealth of experience, exposure to bear in the discharge of the responsibilities that have been placed on my shoulders, so that the dividend of governance will get to people at the grassroots level.
How are you coping with the management of wastes in Port Harcourt?
What many persons don't know or don't realize is that Port Harcourt City local government is doing a lot to keep Port Harcourt clean. There are service providers whose services we have engaged, and we spend a lot of money to ensure that they sweep the roads. I'm sure that a clear example, if you drive through a bar road up to Government House, beyond to the Borokri areas, you will see that the place is clean. It is not by happenstance. There are people who we engage, who sweep the roads, who also dispose of refuse. We also have service providers who cut the lawns in the OGR area, virtually every area within the Port Harcourt.
What about the ones generated, those wastes generated by the market people? It's very essential that you talk about it.
It's also part of our responsibility. However, I'd like to say that the River State Sanitation Agency also has some measure of responsibility. There are areas where the agency concentrates, and there are areas where the Port Harcourt City local government deals with.
Administrator, many are of the opinion that whoever that becomes either mayor, administrator, or chairman of Port Harcourt City Council is just made, given that position, to relax, because the state government is taking care of almost everything in the state. What exactly are you doing with the allocation you receive?
Well,
are you keeping them for the rainy day because you have no work to do? State government has taken over everything.
Well, to say that the state government has taken over the responsibility of Port Harcourt City local government and perhaps other local government is not correct. I just had a meeting with the Executive Secretary of River State Primary Health Board on certain issues that relate to health. First, I think that the proper starting point will be to make it clear that there were certain revenue items which the local government was collecting before now. Okay? And some of those revenue items have also been transferred to the state government. The state government has taken over those revenue items. So if you take over assets, you must also take over liability. Beyond that, I have just shared with you some moments ago that there are areas that relate to sanitation and environmental management, which are shared between the River State government and Port Harcourt City local government. The same thing applies to other local government areas. So it's not correct to say that the River State government has taken over the responsibilities of the Port Harcourt City local government. Aside from that, if you're asking of what do we do with the revenues that or the allocation that we receive, As far as records are concerned, the Port Harcourt City local government has the highest wage bill out of the 23 local government areas.
Is it as a result of salaries?
Yes, as at the last count, the number of staff in Port Harcourt City local government is about 2,810. Okay, so that's on the wage bill. And I've also been able to tell you responsibilities that we discharge with respect to the environment and sanitation. We support the provision, the healthcare, primary healthcare services. We also support in the areas of education. Upon my assumption of duties, I had the opportunity to go around some of the primary schools to inspect the state of facilities, and we're also working hard to ensure that we attend to the observed areas of need in the primary schools.
When you say you support, do you mean you put up new infrastructure for them, or where there are no desks or something, you provide for them? What do you do? What do you mean by support?
What we have been able, because if you look at some of our primary schools, they actually need some attention. Some have not been maintained over a period, so we intend to provide furniture for the pupils, furniture for staff, teaching and non-teaching staff, some other structural materials. Some of the classrooms are in a bad shape, some with leaking roof and so on. So we need to attend to those needs in order to provide conducive learning environment for pupils in Port Harcourt.
Administrator, your council collects tax from market women. What do you do for them in return for paying taxes to you?
Well, I'm barely 2 months old in office, so I should be concerned with what happens within the period that I'm in office. You also realize that the market needs maintenance. Okay, those markets, some of those markets were built by the state government and handed over to the local government. There are needs in terms of regular maintenance in the markets, and that falls squarely on the shoulders of the local government. We need to ensure that we provide security in the various markets, maintain the facilities so that the place will be conducive, will be healthy for business and commercial transactions.
Administrator, you talked about a recent meeting you held with the Primary Healthcare Management Board Executive Secretary. What's your relationship with the Minister of Education in terms of providing the basic needs for pupils and all of that?
Of course, you know the state of affairs now. All government agencies, departments and ministries, including the local government, work in synergy. So we'll have a very good relationship with the Ministry of Education, where there are needs to interface with the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, either for advisory purposes, for counseling, or as the need may arise. We have always gone across to the Permanent Secretary.
It is on record that Rivers State now has the highest HIV prevalence rate in Nigeria now. And when you talk about development, if the health of the people are not taken into serious consideration, then there cannot be development or progress anywhere. What are you doing as an administrator in that regard to ensure that the most vulnerable people are protected from this illness?
Well, that doesn't fall squarely on the shoulders of the local government. We are concerned
that has to do with health of the people.
We are concerned with primary healthcare services. And you realize that by law, the River State Primary Health Management Board deducts certain amount at source from the allocation to local government. They use that for sundry purposes in order to provide healthcare services to our people. But as a local government, aside from sensitization and advocacy, we also provide certain level of support to the health officers in charge of the various health centers. Some 1 week ago, I'm sure that you may be aware that a program was flagged off at the state level and in each of the 23 local government areas in River State, including Port Harcourt, where we provided some funds and other support for pregnant women, nursing mothers, facilities, drugs were provided, and other essentials. So that's also our own way of contributing to ensure that health becomes accessible to our people.
So when you took a tour around the LGA, the health facilities, primary health care center and all of that, what was the impression at the end of your tour? And how many primary health care centers do you have in Falga?
We have about 13 primary health centers. Port Harcourt is a bit lucky compared to some other local governments, maybe because of the urban character of the LGA. Virtually all the health centers in Port Harcourt have been renovated by the River State Primary Health Management Board, and other necessities in terms of facilities provided. Where we seem to have some high level of challenge is in the area of primary education. Most of the primary schools need very serious and urgent attention.
All right, we've been talking to Dr. Sam KALAGBO. He is the administrator of Port Harcourt State Local Government Area. We'll take a short break, and when we return, he will take us through issues of security as it affects the local government area. Stay with us. Stewardship with SNB. Stewardship with SNB. If you have just joined us, the program is Stewardship with SNB, and it's on Rstv. You can join us on our social media handles such as YouTube and Facebook at Rstv Online. We are also on GoTV, channel 142, and Start Times, channel 113. My guest hasn't changed, the sole administrator of Port Harcourt State Local Government Area, Dr. Sam KALAGBO. Administrator, once again, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, there were reported cases of cult clashes. The recent case was somewhere at the education bus stop where two cult groups clashed for whatever reasons they know best. Did you try to find out what happened? What is the situation now?
I believe that first, issues of security are not issues that we bring to the public space. There are a number of things that are done behind the scene. I'd like to use this opportunity to commend the various security agencies in Port Harcourt City Local Government for their effort in containing various security issues in the local government. Yesterday, I had the opportunity of even interfacing with the area commander in charge of Port Harcourt Metropolis and the divisional police officer in charge of Azikiwe police station in connection with certain disturbances allegedly involving cult groups within the Dube axis of Port Harcourt. But I can assure you that the security agencies are on top of the matter. Certain arrests, I understand, have been made, and certain security measures have also been put in place to contain further occurrence of such ugly incidents.
Did you try to find out what caused that fight?
Well, when called groups clash, one basic factor is the struggle for supremacy, territorial expansion, and dominance. Those are issues that usually cause cult clashes among cult groups.
All right, that's about security. I would like to know, you mentioned here that you have been administrator for about 2 months. Am I correct, sir?
Yes.
Can the public know how much you have collected so far? Each of the months that passed, how much did you collect as monthly allocation?
Well, I have only collected allocation for 1 month.
Okay.
I will also just collect the allocation.
What was the figure in that 1 month?
I cannot give you the exact figure because this thing has to do with funds, so that I'm not misquoted or quoted out of context.
Okay, Administrator, sorry to cut in. So the X fund you have received for this 1 month
Yes.
that you have received so far,
Yes.
sectorally, what did you do with them? Sectorally. Let's look at sector by sector.
First, you are aware that before we came in, the 85,000 Naira minimum wage had not been implemented. On assumption of office, we started paying the 85,000 Naira minimum wage, and that increased the monthly wage bill, which is gargantuan. I had told you of the staff strength of the local government. Now, aside from that, we are also, as a local government, paying arrears of promotion to staff of the local government for 6 months.
Oh, really?
You may also be aware that the health workers all over the state, complained, they protested over certain items that were not included in their package. So we're also paying that. So you realize that you have over 60% of your monthly allocation going into monthly payment of wages of staff members. I've also told you that we have engaged the services of certain service providers on environment, on security. We support health issues and some other incidental expenditure that we will make in the local government. So the expenditure items are very large.
Interesting. All right. Oftentimes when people are chosen from the academia to manage political offices, they end up becoming chief executives of that office, maybe in a political era or something. Will you be tempted at any time, now that you have tasted power and money, would you be tempted to vie for a political office in the coming political season?
Well, it is incorrect to say that now that I have tested power. I have tested power. I was rector for 8 years. So if you're talking of access,
that's in the academia.
If you're talking to access to power, access to manage debt fund allocation, is not a child's play. So, but that is besides the point. My concentration here is to ensure that we achieve peace, sustainable peace in the local government, to also ensure that we provide services to our people, that the dividends of governance get to our people, and to also assist the sole administrator of River State to put the necessary machinery and mechanism in place for restoration of democratic governance in River State. Those are my preoccupations now, and not to begin to consider whether I need to run for an office or not. Of course, you know, at the moment, we are appointed on non-partisan basis. So the presumption is that I'm not even a member of any political party for now.
Interesting. All right, so what would you like to be remembered for when you leave office?
By the time I leave office as administrator and mayor of Port Harcourt City local government, I would like to be remembered for making profound impact, not only the life of staff of the local government, but in Port Harcourt generally. I will become a reference point for future political office holders. People should be able to say that when I had the opportunity of occupying the position of administrator and mayor of Port Harcourt, I did things differently from previous occupants, because people look at things from basically a political point of view. But I approach every issue that I deal with from a panoramic point of view. It is not political considerations that inform my decisions and actions, but the interests, welfare of staff, residents, and people of Port Harcourt City local government.
Okay, what's the most challenging experience you have had since you took office? Because you are performing dual functions, executive functions and legislative functions, because it's an emergency rule. So you more or less taking a unilateral decision in terms of policy actions and all of that. What is most challenging to you within this period you have held this office?
Well, I wouldn't consider anything most challenging, because I've held administrative positions in the past.
It's all easy.
Like I told you earlier, you know, to run or manage, administer a tertiary institution is more complex than managing a local government. What I consider to be perhaps very challenging to me is how to allocate available resources to meet the diverse needs of the people and residents of Port Harcourt City local government.
Tell us about your relationship with the staff of the LGA. It's an emergency rule.
I do not think that I'm in a better place to talk about that. But now that you have asked me, we have a very cordial relationship. My administration has a very cordial relationship with the principal officers of the local government, and indeed all staff of the local government.
Have you had time to interact with them, to knowing their challenges and all of that?
Yes, a few days after assumption of office, I took an inspection of the facilities in the local government. That afforded me the opportunity to appreciate physically some of the challenges of the staff of the local government, which for me I consider very basic, and providing more furniture for them, conducive work environment. Those are basic things that every administration, and indeed every administration, should do. I also had an interaction with the entire staff of the local government, where I addressed them and had useful discussions with them. The executive of National Union of Local Government Employees, FALGA chapter, I've also been in constant touch with them, and I can assure you that our relationship is cordial, harmonious, and devoid of any friction.
Interesting. We've been talking to Dr. Sam KALAGBO, the sole administrator of Port Harcourt City local government area. And then Administrator You want to share with us any other thing you have that we've not asked you here?
Well, I'd like to use this opportunity to thank the administrator of River State, Vice Admiral retired Ibas, for finding me worthy to serve in this capacity as administrator and mayor of Port Harcourt City Local Government, and to also appeal to the people and residents of Port Harcourt to continue to maintain peace, and given the heterogeneous character of Port Harcourt City Local Government, we need to work together and to support the government both at the state level and at the local government level, so that together we can make River State in general and Port Harcourt in particular a better place to live and do business.
Are you concerned about the political crisis that rocked River State within this past 6 months or thereabout?
I had made an earlier submission that that matter is sub judice.
No, but as a River son,
I wouldn't want
as a River son, and as the administrator mayor of a local government that is the face of River State, one would have expected that you would have one or two words to share, in terms of your concern.
Yes, my concern and advice to all the affected parties is that the Bible also provides that there is time and season for everything. The time for war, the time for battle, the time for political struggle, by my own evaluation, are over. This is time for peace. All parties need to come together to achieve reconciliation so that River State can move forward.
Dr. Sam KALAGBO, Administrator and Mayor of Port Harcourt, thank you so much for your time with us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. But that's our program. Join us again same time. We shall bring you another guest on a different topic. I am Solomon Nelson Braid. Bye-bye. Stewardship with SNB.